Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of the HamSukhan Podcast. You're seeing us after a very long time, and I do not blame you for forgetting who we are. But just as a recap, my name is Faaiz Gilani. I am the co-founder of HamSukhan. I have done this podcast before, but now we have a new host, Shanzay, Awan, who has been working quite a lot with us. So rather than me doing an introduction, how about you start speaking, Shanzay?
Hello, my name is Shanzay Awan, and I'm working as a program manager for HamSukhan for a year now, actually more than a year.
Shanza's journey for HamSukhan has been quite fascinating. She just came at one of our library events, and then I'm like, "Oh, do you like Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's one of my." And slowly, she started growing into all of these activities that we have to a point where she's now one of the most pivotal persons in the entire organization. But enough talking about Shanzay. It's now time to talk about the podcast itself. So, as someone who has stepped into the job world, last time you may have heard me talking, that was me after my graduation. This time, what's actually happening is that we are moving towards a new domain, and I have personally found a very difficult or different sort of a navigation in job life itself. And I've been speaking to quite a lot of friends as well who talk about how they have expectations when they're going abroad for their masters or undergrad, and they find life quite difficult or different from what they imagined as well. And as someone who has been through this journey, I did my undergrad here from Pakistan, and then I went to England for my master's. So I've also experienced it. And Shanze echoes the same sentiments because she also did her undergrad from the US. So this particular episode is kind of like a navigation or navigator of sort for those who are going abroad or finding their feet abroad. So there are days where you feel as if there's nothing that's worth living by here, and you just want to come back home and have aloo toast with paratha. But as someone who almost cried couple of times just by homesickness, I think the nahi nahi tension na lo abhi bhi इतना बुरा सूरत हाल नहीं है. So starting off with this in particular, I went straight after my undergrad, and I did not have job experience. And the first thing I noticed over there was, apart from the fact that I nearly lost myself in a new city while trying to navigate through the tube stations,
Yeah, I mean,
the
you were in
professors are
London.
quite.
That was like the most hardest city to navigate. I mean, I think it's easier when you go
Yes.
to like in the middle of nowhere. I don't know, maybe it's harder, but I think it's just like the fast paced that gets you,
Oh,
and I think that takes a long time to
it
get.
was quite overwhelming, to be very honest. So, like,
Exactly.
from the moment you step inside the airport, step outside from the airport, and then there's like multiple trains, and you have to look at the map. And I am 100% certain that every Londoner finds themselves lost while trying to figure out what happened. और मसला ये है कि वहाँ पे signals भी नहीं आते train के अंदर. And then
Oh
even
yeah.
if you are lost, you don't know what's happening. So I learned a phrase over there. That's not a phrase that you pick from England, but I picked up a phrase garam garam samosa mein Allah ke bharose, and I would and I would end up saying that before every single train journey. और करते करते हम पहुंच जाते थे university. And over there I found the professors to be quite open and engaging. Like, I'm still in touch with quite a few professors of mine. And then over there there's a sense of Shanti, you can talk more on this, but personally I went for my master, so I think they had an assumption that students are more mature now. Like, in the relationship that I saw with my professors or teachers in undergrad or below, that had quite changed or transformed in comparison to what I saw during my time at Masters. So, and then I sometimes believe that it's because of the age factor. But you, as someone who went there a bit younger, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's very different from how we perceive our teachers in Pakistan. Pakistan में बहुत वो होता है कि oh, it's like an authority position, so you should like always respect them. The thing is like in Pakistan, there's a thing like if you question someone, you don't respect them, right? And it's like it happens everywhere, and it's I think much more pervasive in Pakistan. You see even in your household, you have that feeling that oh, if I question my parents, there is that sense like oh, am I disrespecting them? But I feel like when I went abroad as a undergrad student, I realized, okay, wow, okay, I remember being in one class and people were for me it was like legit arguing with the professor, and I was shocked. I was like, ye kaise kar rahe? I could never do this back in my like school in Pakistan. Like I could never think of that क्योंकि हमें कभी वो space नहीं दी जाती थी. But in the US, when I was at in my classes, there's so much space to argue with your professor, which I thought was very weird. And the professor was not offended. Like they were not just, "Wow, how can you even ask me this question?" You know, वो जो होता था कि you asked a very simple question, and your teacher would look at you like, ये question हमसे पूछा भी क्यों आपने, you know? So it wasn't like that. And और इस वजह से I think एक आ जाता है रिलेशनशिप में एक इजी हो जाता है बात करना यू कैन टॉक टू प्रोफेसर वेरी इजीली एंड दैट ब्रिंग्स इन द रिलेशनशिप बिल्डिंग you don't see them as like this person of authority. You can just talk about anything with them. And I remember office hours, you can just go there. And I remember when I first went to an office hour, for me it was like, oh, acha, like I have to be very like, oh, civil, and be like very, it's a formal meeting. And the sooner I realized it wasn't like, the professor was like, oh, I'm like watching this show, I'm reading this book, and it's like, oh, it's just like a chill meeting. I think that helps a lot. Joe, which I didn't experience in school in Pakistan, but I don't know, you went to LUMS as an undergrad, so I don't know if you had those kind of relationship with your professors, but I found that very different from education system in Pakistan.
So before I start talking about my answers, I had intentionally skipped out the LUMS or the UCL part because the last thing I want is people commenting that LUMS is the biggest marker of Faiz's personality. Uh, I felt the same, and there was one particular class, and the professor was Chinese, and she was talking about global poverty and how it's the role of those who are better off to support those who are vulnerable. And the questions that she was being asked, they were quite upfront and brutal, I would say. Like I was looking and expecting, अभी कोई आएगा कहेगा कि जरा principal के पास या पे VC के पास आ
Mhm.
जाओ. But she listened to all of those questions in such a calm manner, and despite the fact that when she would respond, her answers were very articulate and to the point. But the students, they were not ready for this conversation, and they kept saying that you don't know, you're speaking from a sense of entitlement, and all, whereas she wasn't. To a point where I thought they're getting a bit quite rude and need to stop. And someone did stop, and one of the students told them that stop, we don't need this anymore. But that being said, yes, it's a bit true for the university experience in Pakistan. But at the same time, there are professors who are very different. Like I remember, I always say this name, Professor Anika, but she redefined what a professor would be like. And to this day, I credit her for being one of those who helped me to a point where I started writing in itself. And she had a relation where she would treat a student not just as a student, but someone whom she was invested in someone's journey and trying to make them better. And being abroad, I once remember I had office hours with one of my professors, and he was playing table tennis. And when I emailed him, sir, where are you? I am waiting for you at your office hours. He's like, I'm just 10 minutes late. If you want, we can have a table tennis match because I'm at the table. So I ended up going over there, and we had like four or five
Oh, wow.
table tennis matches. And
Crazy.
at two point where I actually forgot why I was there in the first place. Or and me ye hua ke I was like, okay, thank you so much, sir. I'm gonna go. And then he's like, wait a second, you came here for something. I'm like, oh yeah, sir. Regarding the dissertation, what do you think? So that also happened. But it's not just about the professors, even the students itself. So I am someone who believes that I am an introvert, although I have a lot of people saying that I'm no longer an introvert. But there
Yeah,
were so many
that's
different
right.
people.
I agree with that
Even my
statement.
mom doesn't like me. So I went to my class, and since it was London, so there are multiple sort of different ethnicities and nationalities: Chinese, Lebanese, of course, the Britishers. And I found it a bit difficult to speak to them because I was like, what would they think? Would they even want to speak to me? Would it look rude if I just go and start speaking? Especially the Chinese. The Chinese used to have a very close group, and they wouldn't speak to anyone, to a point that in the first term I struggled to befriend people just because I could not take the first initiative of speaking. And it was only later on when I started making friends that I realized that everyone out there is new over here. and they're also looking for someone to speak to tell how their day was or what are their passions and all. But they're also scared at the same time and thinking, probably thinking the same thing that you have in your mind. So if you're going over there, might as well take the first initiative and just say hello, how are you, stuff like that. And and ever since I got the realization, I changed a lot as well. So I spent one Eid over there, and that felt a bit lonely. But I realized there are quite a lot of other people who may find lonely. So I took boxes of chocolates to the masjid, and whoever I saw offering namaz alone or just standing at a corner when the namaz was, I used to give them chocolate and say Eid Mubarak, and they would get so over the moon. It was okay. हमें किसी ने ईद वगैरह नहीं कहा, and we're here alone, so thank you so
Yeah.
much. But you would probably have some more examples, Shanzay, of this.
Yeah,
I
like
just shared one of
that's how
my
you build
stories.
community. And I think the first semester is definitely really, really hard because the culture is different. It's just like we can't say, oh, it's not it's the same. We're all human. They're all the same. No, it's different. The way they communicate with each other is different. Like in Pakistan, there is when you meet a Pakistani, there's a certain level of affinity like directly. So it's hard to just communicate with someone who's not from Pakistan, who doesn't understand how it works over here. Even I would say overseas Pakistanis, you have that sense of like, okay, we are the same. But even with them, there's a big gap. But yeah, it's very important to just talk. It's fine. I mean people will reject you. I'm not saying like you'll talk to someone be your best friend. No, like there will be people who won't give you the response that you wanted, but it's okay. I think that's the first step of it getting used to rejection, and I think you should start there because you're gonna get rejected a lot in many different ways in college. So that's like the first step you should take. Socially, yeah, I mean, I think I have gotten more opportunities by talking to people rather than just like applying to something. So it's very important to build those connections. It might lead you to some really great things, and also you make friends for life. So why not? So yeah, I think Faiz gave some really good advice. Just you have to step out of your comfort zone, or else you'll be very lonely. And being lonely in a new city where you don't know anyone is I think the worst thing you can ever go through, and maybe it'll affect your academics and many other, like your mental health really impacts a lot of things, so you should take care of that. And being in a good mental space is also having some kind of community. So just get out there and just step out of your comfort zone. That was like my biggest thing that I did. Even I think stepping, it's not easy, like going up to someone being like, hey, it's like it can be kind of difficult for someone who had, you were in high school, like you knew everyone, you could talk to anyone, right? Then suddenly you're in this place, you don't know anyone. It can be like ego पे थोड़ा होता है कि यार मैं क्यों जाके बात करूं, why can't they come to me and talk, you know? But sometimes some people do, but you should always think it's okay, I can take the first step, it's fine.
And also, you should remove some of the layers that you have. Like, for example, if anyone used to come and speak to me, I would have been like, I already don't like this person. Why is he coming?
Yeah.
And adding to that, the idea of a community for me as well became something of paramount importance just because I spent time over there. So even with HamSukhan, the first in-person activity that I did was back in London. हम Hyde Park में man called Oaf पढ़ के पढ़ने के लिए हमने book talk किया था, where we just gathered and told what the book was about, and then we had a few more events as well. And that set the tone that in-person events are needed, and how the gathering of people brought along friendships as well. Even over here in Islamabad or Lahore, there are many people whom I just met once or twice before, but because of Hamsukhan and a bit of connections, they soon became very good friends. Like Arifa is a very good example. You would see her at multiple events, but we hadn't met. Where it's because of the book clubs and the community meetups that now she's a pivotal part of the community. And moreover, Shanzay mentioned that it's super sad to be lonely in a city where no one knows you. That's very true. But if it ever happens, I would say get your shoes, wear them, and just go out for a walk. I cannot tell you how much walks around the city, going to London Bridge, have kept me sane. Like just sit over there and just observe people. Even that is worth That is something. So I don't really miss my life from abroad. You would hardly see me complaining, "Oh, I want to be back over there." But it's the walks that I still do go like, okay, this is something that's still missing from my life, and if I could have
Exactly,
something,
yeah.
it's probably that.
I think, yeah. I think walking anywhere was like that was the biggest thing because when you're so I was in the US, the US is not like a very walkable country, and I was also in California, so it's not very walkable there too. So, but my campus was very walkable, so I could just do anything and just anywhere. I can walk to a park, I can walk to the theater and watch a movie, so I could do a lot of things alone. In Pakistan, you can do that. And yeah, also another thing that which I wanted to talk about is the fact that doing things alone is very normalized abroad, right? So you can go to have lunch alone, you can go have dinner alone, you can go watch movies, you can do everything alone. But here in Pakistan, it's kind of like, right, it's something that's not normal. So even if you do that, people would be like, why would you go alone? And even if you're sitting alone at a restaurant, which I personally have not done that quite a lot, not gonna lie. But if you do, people look at you like, oh, why is anyone else coming? And you're just like, no, like can't you see I'm doing something right now. So that was very normalized, and I think that's important too, to just be with yourself. And it's fine if you don't have friends all the time. And I think a lot of time we do think, I think this happened to me in my first semester too, when I university is very hard, like you have classes in very different buildings and at very different times, so your friends won't be there with you all the time like they used to be in school. So you have to be very open to the fact that you will be alone a lot of the times. And I think some people struggle with that. और मुझे बहुत सारे लोग ये कहते थे कि oh, I just feel so lonely because I am not with my friends all the time. And I used to be like, it's fine. I've always been someone who's fine with my own company. But yeah, I think this is something you should also get used to because you won't have your friends with you all the time. That's not possible.
To be fair, I did not mind the lone dinings at all. Even now, I do that. So, you would. So, and the one thing is, initially when I used to go to restaurants all alone, like even here in Islamabad, they would expect that the other chair would be like taken, or they
Yeah.
would ask if someone's coming. But they soon realized that he often comes here alone as well.
See,
And the
that's what
good
I'm
side of
worried.
that is I formed connections with the restaurant people. Like they would come and just have a conversation. I would start speaking with them as well. And it's funny because now whenever I go to a particular restaurant that I am quite fond of going with my friends, we get treated like royalty, as if I am a part of the restaurant or I have shares over there. And another thing, you need to learn to be kind to people. It's so important. Like over
Yeah.
here I've seen in Pakistan that people are like, oh, if someone's like a waiter or someone, we believe that we have a sense of authority, and since we're paying, we
Hmm.
have a might is right sort of a situation. But once you go abroad, you'll probably find yourself in situations where you may end up opting for one of those jobs, or your friends also take up those jobs. And it's important for you to realize कि risk जौन सा भी है वो बेहतरीन है, and we cannot downplay any single profession that is over there just because that we are more better off, and we believe that we have a socio-economic lens, and if someone is poor than us, then we have an automatic authority
Yeah.
over them.
And
And
also, like,
that
we
is
cannot
something
be
that
friends with them, or we cannot be talk about other stuff with them. We just need to talk about work. I think that's very annoying. And that's how I think most of the people in Pakistan see these workers. Through that lens, they see them like, why would I be friends with this person? Like, why not? Like, why not? I see a lot of people
yeah.
my own age who are working in these places. So I think also it has to do with the fact that, again, these jobs are not normalized. Like, the a lot of people in the US, they were working just for the sake of working, like for experience, and even if they had the cushion, or like they had parents who could provide for them, but they still were working. And here it's not that normal, so we still have that stigma.
If I could like mandate something, if I could mandate something, it would be like anyone
Same.
growing up, he needs to spend at least like 100 or 150 hours doing
Yes,
such work. Because
exactly.
let's say कि कदर भी तब आती है, and then you learn that every single job out there is difficult work, and it's not as
Yeah,
if they're getting free money out of it,
we need
and
to
you do not have a
normalize.
sense of yes.
Exactly. I think you
So
should,
khair,
like,
I think
summer
I
job
can.
should be normalized. Everyone should have a summer job. Like, you should not be just fooling around in the summer. Do something, volunteer, do something. And I think that's something that you learn when you go abroad. Like people are always doing any something. I'm not a big like hustle culture person, like oh like work, work, work. I'm just saying be part of a community, join something, have a hobby. Shopping is not a hobby. Sorry guys. I think a lot of time when I ask people like what's your hobby? And they're like, oh, I love to shop. And I'm just like, that's not a hobby. It's not a hobby. So you need
That
to find
that's
ways
still
to
better
connect
than
with
someone
people.
telling me that. Yeah, that's still better than someone telling, "Oh, I spend a lot of time on my mobile." I'm like, dude, that's not a hobby. That's the
Yeah,
exact
it's
opposite of
like
having a
that's not.
hobby. Before we conclude this particular episode, I'm gonna put Shanzay on the spot. I have three burning questions for you.
Okay.
One, what's the one key takeaway from your time abroad? Two, tell us a memory of your initial phase where you were trying to settle in. Three, if you could describe the entire process of how, in like 3 words, what would you say?
Need to think about this. Hmm.
I'll answer from my end. So going over
Okay, yeah,
there,
you answer, I'll
I
get
went
some
to one of those
inspiration.
So going to university, I imagined that I would come across quite a lot of Britishers, and it's going to be like England, the heart of London, and all. But I went to the cafe to get something to eat on my on my second day. The first day I went to Nando's, and I was expecting to get some English food or something. But I saw chicken biryani over there, like packed chicken biryani for the tourists. And I was like, yeah, in London or Lahore. And I had that chicken biryani, although it felt like an airport sort, the airplane kind of a chicken
Yeah.
biryani, it's not the typical one. But the sense of familiarity and seeing that chicken biryani with although I have a feeling it was mostly because there are quite a lot of Indians over there. But that felt like so good for me. That's still something I remember.
I think I would say for the first question, again, I would say that socially, it really changed me as a person. I would say education-wise, yes, you're going to like the biggest university in the world and all these cool professors are with you. But I think the most important thing that I learned was that these people are just people and you interacting with them, how do you interact with a professor, how do you interact with someone who's from a completely different cultural background and also like socioeconomic background and you understand how they got where they are right now. I think that is something that so that multicultural perspective is something that I cherish a lot and that's some I think that would be my answer for the first one. The second one, and what was the second one? An event. Oh, I don't
Well,
know. I don't remember. Like, I don't remember. My memory is not
you
that
can
great.
you can you can skip that, and when you go, inshallah, in a few months, I would gift you 2 kilograms of almonds as a parting gift. You can skip to the third one instead.
So the third one would be, I think, be very intentional in terms of what you want from your degree. It's very, very important. I feel like a lot of time people go in expecting something and not getting that, and then getting depressed, like, oh, I was not expecting this. Like, what has happened? I think you should be very intentional and do things towards that goal of yours. So for me, if you again हम लोग वो जो बात करते कि oh if you're going um to study something and you're just like I want to get a job, then you should think like what's your major, what's your major, right? You should not just like, oh, I'm going abroad and I'll do like art history and I'll sorry for to the all art history majors. I don't have anything against you guys, but it's just the reality that especially as an international student, if you have that thought, oh, I want to have a job right after I graduate, think about it before making a decision. It's very, very important. And other than that, yeah, again, I think हमने जो advice थी वो अच्छी advice थी है कि how you should, you know, not be in your comfort zone and step out of it, but be very intentional. Think about your decision a lot. Even now that I'm going for a master's, I'm thinking a lot like, what do I want from this degree? Not just education wise, but in all different kind of aspects. So that's very important. I don't know if that was a question,
And
but I
before we
just
wrap it up, chalega. Before we wrap up, Shanzay already mentioned rejections as well and jobs as well. You'll get quite a lot of rejections in terms of jobs, so you need to be mentally prepared. Initially, I should take a job rejection as a reflection of my own self worth. You should not be doing that at all. And with that
Rejection
being said,
is
it's time to wrap up.
redirection, guys. It's rejection, redirection, and both of us know that because we've been through that. So it's fine. It'll work out. It's not the end of the world. Trust me.
Very true. And with that being said, I think it's time to wrap up this episode. If you have suggestions on what you want us to speak next, feel free to tell us about it in the comments below. And I hope you enjoyed watching us in this episode. Thank you.
Thank
Allah
you.
Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.